Have you ever wondered whether the most overlooked piece of exercise equipment in your life might be something you walk past 5 times a day without even thinking about it? Most people over 60 think of walking as the gold standard for staying mobile. They imagine it as the safe, gentle, knee-friendly choice. And on some level, they're not wrong. Walking is genuinely good for older adults. But here's what a lot of people never consider. The human body was built very specifically for climbing. The muscles around your knees, the architecture of your hips, the way your quadriceps line up over your kneecap, the demand your bones respond to all of it speaks the language of vertical motion far more clearly than the language of horizontal motion. And if you like simple, research-based health breakdowns that actually explain what your body is doing, subscribe and stay with me for more. Because stairs, when used thoughtfully, deliver a different physiological signal than walking. They load the legs in a specific pattern. They wake up muscle groups that walking barely touches. They challenge balance in a way that walking on a flat surface never does. They push cardiovascular demand upward without needing a treadmill or a gym. And they do something walking rarely accomplishes at the level older joints need. They ask the body to lift itself against gravity, repeatedly in a controlled vertical line. That sounds simple, but it's actually quite a lot. Now, I want to be careful with the framing right from the start. This is not a video that declares walking useless after 60. That kind of content is shallow and honestly, it makes people tune out. Walking is excellent. If you walk every day, you're doing something genuinely good for your circulation, your mood, your blood sugar, and your heart. What I want to do here is more useful than telling you to stop one and start the other. I want to explain why stairs offer something walking often doesn't. Because once you understand the mechanical and physiological difference between stepping up and stepping forward, the idea that stairs could be uniquely useful for leg strength, knee resilience, and functional independence starts making a lot of sense. And I know what some of you might be thinking already. My knees. Aren't stairs hard on the knees? That intuition is understandable, and I want to address it directly. But the actual research picture is more nuanced than the cultural assumption. Going to get to that. First, we need to build the body from the ground up. The first thing to hold on to is this idea. Walking is mostly horizontal. Stairs are vertical. And your legs were specifically engineered for vertical. Your quadriceps, the big muscles on the front of your thighs, were not designed primarily to move your body forward on a flat surface. They were designed to slow your body down while descending and to lift your body up while ascending. Their deepest physiological role is controlling your knee under load in a vertical line. Walking on flat surfaces contracts the quadriceps gently, mostly during the push-off phase at the end of each step. The angle of knee flexion is small. The demand is light to moderate. Most of the work is shared between many muscles in steady rotation. It's gentle, it's sustainable, it's repetitive, and for older adults, that's exactly what makes it safe. But it's also exactly what limits its strength-building effect. Stair climbing changes the geometry entirely. Every step up requires knee flexion well beyond what walking demands. The quadriceps contract more forcefully. The glutes fire to extend the hip. The calves work to stabilize the ankle. The hamstrings coordinate the movement. Within just a few steps, you're asking your legs to perform a much more complete, much more demanding cycle of contraction than walking ever requests. And this matters because after 60, one of the most common physical changes people experience is a quiet loss of leg strength. The quadriceps are usually the first group to weaken. The glutes follow. The stabilizers around the knee begin to lose their crisp coordination. And this is often the moment when people start noticing stairs as something to avoid when stairs might actually be one of the most useful tools available. So the question becomes very specific. Are the muscles that keep you standing, walking, climbing into the car, getting up from a chair, and catching yourself if you trip, are those muscles getting the kind of demand they need? Let's go through the layers. The first layer I want to walk you through is what stair climbing specifically does to the quadriceps and the muscles that control the knee. When you step up onto a stair, you're not just lifting your leg, you're lifting your entire body weight against gravity, using primarily your quadriceps, your glutes, and your calves working together. A single stair climb can demand roughly 1.5 times your body weight through your knee joint, depending on the depth of the step and your technique. Compare that to walking on a flat surface, which loads the knee at closer to body weight during stance phase. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between training at one resistance and training at another. And the demand is not just about strength, it's about control. The quadriceps have to lengthen under load as you descend into the next step, and then shorten powerfully as you push up. That combination, sometimes called eccentric-concentric loading, is one of the most effective ways to build functional, real-world leg strength. Walking on flat ground simply doesn't repeat that cycle in the same way. Which brings us to layer 2, why stair climbing is such a strong signal for knee resilience, not just knee strength. I know the cultural instinct says stairs wear the knees out, and there's a partial logic to that worry. Knees with existing arthritis, knees recovering from injury, knees that are already significantly worn, those knees can genuinely hurt with stair use. Nobody should ignore real pain, but here's the part most people never hear. The cartilage in your knee doesn't get nourished the way most tissues do. It doesn't have a strong direct blood supply. What feeds it is movement, compression, and release. The mechanical loading of normal walking and stair use actually helps circulate synovial fluid through the joint, bringing nutrients to cartilage and clearing waste products. Light, repeated, controlled loading is one of the mechanisms by which joints stay healthier in the long term. Avoiding all loading is not necessarily protective. Sedentary knees often decline faster than gently used knees, especially under proper guidance. The key idea is controlled. Stair use that respects pain signals, that uses handrails when needed, that is paced appropriately, that starts gradually. That kind of stair use is mechanistically different from the picture people carry around in their heads about stairs destroying joints. If your knees were a door hinge, the issue isn't whether you use the hinge. The issue is whether you let it rust shut or keep it swinging gently. Now, layer 3. Let's talk about balance and fall prevention, because this is where stair climbing offers something walking almost never matches. Walking on flat ground is a relatively predictable motor task. Your feet land on level surface. Your center of gravity moves smoothly forward. You're not required to make many mid-step decisions. The locomotion system uses mostly automatic, rhythmic patterns. Stair climbing changes that completely. Every single step requires your body to recalibrate. Where your foot lands, how much weight shifts onto it, how your hips respond to the new height, how your ankles stabilize. Your vision guides it. Your inner ear guides it. Your proprioception, your body's sense of where it is in space, has to fire on every step. That sounds potentially dangerous. And yes, stair falls are a real concern for older adults. Nobody should downplay that. What researchers have observed, though, is that regular, careful stair use improves the very systems that prevent falls in the first place: proprioception, ankle stability, hip strategy, reaction time. The same muscles and neural pathways that keep you safe on stairs are the ones that catch you when you trip on a sidewalk. The person who climbs stairs regularly, especially within a reasonable intensity range, often has better reactive control than the person who avoids them entirely. Walking builds endurance. Stairs build reactive control. Those are different gifts. Now, layer 4 is about bone density. And this is another area where stair climbing delivers a stronger stimulus than many people expect. Bone responds to mechanical load. The classic formula is simple. Bone tissues strengthen when they experience forces beyond their everyday baseline and weaken when they don't. This is why astronauts lose bone mass in space. It's why sedentary people lose bone on the ground. It's why athletes who load their skeletons tend to maintain it longer. Walking on a flat surface delivers bone-loading force, but at a relatively modest magnitude. The vertical impact is gentle. The repetition is high, but the amplitude is low. Stair climbing loads the skeleton differently. Each step sends a meaningful vertical impulse up through the heel, the tibia, the femur, the hip, and the spine. The hip, in particular the femoral neck, the trochanteric region, sees a more demanding load cycle during stair ascent than during level walking. For older adults whose bone density is one of the things they're most concerned about, that distinction is significant. I want to be careful here. Stair climbing is not a treatment for osteoporosis. It is not a substitute for medical evaluation. And anyone with known significant bone loss should absolutely consult a clinician before adding stair work. But as a general mechanical signal, as a way of asking the skeleton to do something, it was built for stair climbing, offers more stimulus per minute than walking typically does. That is the kind of detail that changes how people think about a routine they've probably been avoiding. Now, layer 5, the cardiovascular layer. Stair climbing raises heart rate. That's obvious. But the magnitude of the effect is what surprises people. Research suggests that climbing stairs at a normal, self-selected pace can elevate heart rate into roughly 70 to 85% of maximum for many adults, depending on fitness level. That puts stair climbing in the same general cardiovascular training zone as brisk uphill cycling or jogging. Even though it feels more like walking, even briskly, often keeps heart rate in a lower zone. That's not bad. That's just different. Steady-state walking is excellent for base cardiovascular health, for recovery, for circulation, and for days when intensity isn't appropriate. But when the goal is cardiovascular training, particularly within a short time window, stairs can deliver a meaningful dose in just a few minutes. And the practical implication is huge for people over 60. If a short flight of stairs can deliver a cardio workout equivalent to a longer walk, that's time, efficiency, and adherence all at once. Now let me tie the layers together, because otherwise this can feel like just a list. And I don't think a list is what helps people remember. What connects stair climbing and walking into one picture is not that one is good and one is bad. It's that they target different systems at different intensities with different mechanical signatures. Walking is the maintenance language of the body. Low intensity, high frequency, gentle loading, sustainable for long durations. Stair climbing is the strength language of the body-focused load. Deeper knee flexion, higher cardiovascular demand, more acute balance challenge, stronger skeletal stimulus. Both matter. But if someone over 60 is concerned about leg strength, knee resilience, balance, bone density, and cardiovascular fitness, walking alone may not address those concerns deeply enough. Stair climbing, used appropriately, is one of the most accessible ways to layer in that higher threshold of demand without needing equipment, machines, or a gym membership. The tissue of the legs responds to what the legs are asked to do. Walking asks less. Stairs ask more. And once you see that, stairs stop looking like a nuisance and start looking like what they actually are, one of the most efficient daily tools most people underuse. So, what would a smart, stair-aware approach look like in practical terms? Just in general educational language, and anyone with knee issues or other concerns should absolutely check with their clinician first. It would probably look gradual, not heroic. Start with one flight a day. Use the handrail. Pick a pace where breathing is steady and the legs are working but not strained. Avoid rushing. Avoid carrying heavy loads upstairs as a workout. Stop if there's sharp knee pain, persistent discomfort, or any sense that the body is protesting beyond normal effort. Notice that none of that is trendy. None of it is glamorous. None of it requires a wearable, a fitness subscription, or a special facility. It is mostly about understanding that stairs are not just architectural obstacles, they're a stimulus. And the body responds to stimulus. I think this is what gets missed in a lot of exercise conversations. People are told to walk more. They walk more. They feel slightly more mobile. They assume they've done the job. But the leg muscles, especially the quadriceps and glutes, often need more than walking provides to stay robust into later decades. Bone density needs more than walking alone supplies to hold its ground. Balance systems need varied challenges, not just steady forward motion. Cardiovascular fitness benefits from intensity variation, not just volume. Stairs quietly offer all of that. So if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. Walking is necessary, but it is not always sufficient. The same legs that carry you across the sidewalk may quietly lose the strength they need to lift you out of a chair, catch you on an uneven surface, climb out of a bathtub, or carry groceries up a single flight of steps. Stair climbing, when approached thoughtfully, is one of the most practical ways to ask those legs to keep doing what they were structurally built to do. Not because every flight of stairs is a workout, but because the body responds to what is regularly asked of it. And walking tends to ask the same thing over and over. Stairs ask something more. That is the real message here. Your legs don't need a gym to stay strong after 60. They mostly need the right kind of demand. And stairs, those ordinary, ignored, half-avoided vertical lines in almost every building, have been offering that demand all along. The only thing missing for most people has been the recognition that climbing them is not just transit, it is training. So if this video helped you see stairs a little differently, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want, leave me a comment telling me how many flights you manage in a day. I'd love to know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.